Welcome back to the show with me, Johnny Pardo, today. And today I welcome back Laura to the show, where we're going to be talking about leadership, we're going to be talking about purpose, and many, many more subjects, I'm sure. So, just a quick introduction to Laura before we begin. So, Laura is a leadership and business mentor and coach for high achievers who know they're meant for more. She helps them awaken the leader within, build impact driven businesses, and finally leave behind careers they were never meant for. Her work blends deep coaching, energetic mastery, and unapologetic truth to help clients rise into the version of themselves the world has been waiting for. So, welcome back to the show today, Laura, first of all.
Thank you, Johnny, for having me back again. It's so exciting to be here.
Yeah, I can't remember when we did our last episode. Must have been a while
Years ago,
ago,
yeah.
years ago. But yeah, time flies. So I'm glad to have you on here, and it's always exciting, like I was saying before the show, to see some of the things you're doing out there. So it's amazing. So yeah, Laura, I'm gonna ask you a little bit about your story. I know we would have done this like before, but for the listener
Mm,
being, if they're very new to you, what
mm.
was your transition out of maybe like the 9 to 5 that's got you to where you are in terms of helping people, uh, really creating these purpose-driven businesses? How did that go for you?
It was a big transition, and I feel like I wish there was like one point that I can say, but I think there are many. I come from a background of hospitality and tourism, and I grew up in that background because my dad had a restaurant, and I really hated it, right? And I was like, okay, the
Mm.
solution to my problems is get to a 9 to 5. Once that I get to a 9 to 5 and I have that office job, like everything will be better because I felt like quite inferior and not enough working in the hospitality and tourism industry. So I feel like early in my 20s, my journey was like, how do I get out of my current industry? So I moved to the UK, I got a degree, then I got a job in a 9 to 5 in England, and then I moved to the US to where I thought I wanted to live. And I was like, okay, done. I have the 9 to 5. I'm living in California. I'm sorted. And once that I started like having it long term, I used to hate it. Like I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I thought this was the answer. Yeah, because I felt like my values weren't aligned to my job, right? And to me, it was always really important to make an impact, like make a difference in whatever I was doing and feel that I'm passionate about what I'm doing and I have the freedom to go and be who I wanted to be. And I felt like I wasn't getting those things. So long short story, I dealt with a lot of challenges, including health. So I was dealing with cancer back in the day when I was in the US, and that really was like a slap on the face to wake up and to ask myself questions like, if I was about to die tomorrow, am I living the life that I really want to live? Like, do I feel fulfilled? Do I feel happy with what I'm building? And the answer was no. So to me, it was like really brave after working like 5 years in, like saving money and getting a degree to move to the US and realizing I want to live. Like, I don't want this 9 to 5. I don't want this life. I want to enjoy my life. So I went on a bit of a soul seeking journey and I went traveling to try to figure out what is it that I really wanted to do. And I ended up like moving to where I am at the moment, to Australia. And because I was starting from scratch and the things that I knew how to do very well, that led me again to tourism and hospitality. So I just felt like, like I was going on a full circle and I was coming back to the same thing. And I was like, oh my God, how do I get out of here? I know that the 9 to 5 is not the answer. I know that tourism and hospitality is not the answer.
Mm.
So I just felt a bit lost, but I was kind of like going with the flow because on my days off from work, I just didn't know what to do specifically. I just knew that I wanted to work online. I knew that purpose was important, but I had no clue how to make money at this point. So what really led me to help others, it was 2019, another challenge, like big challenge, a slap on my face kind of came to me. I was at the time managing hostel properties around Sydney, so backpacker hostels for travelers, right? I had 5 properties, 30 employees. And I felt that, I was kind of like happy but not fulfilled because I had the freedom to not be seated in an office 9 to 5. I was managing people, so I was leading, but I still didn't feel fulfilled. So I got my visa to stay in Australia rejected, which means that I had to leave the country in a 30-day period. So I lost my job, I lost my house, I had to leave the country. And 2 weeks after I received those news, I received the news that my mom passed away in Spain. So it was kind of like, like a bit of like chaotic period, like all at once, the job, the family, the house. It was like, oh my God. So I think like life forced me to actually like quiet down and stop like, going with jobs that are not fulfilling because I wasn't allowed to work and I had to leave. And that's when I went on to an inner journey of like healing. And to me, it was like, okay, how can I heal my relationship with my mom? How can I heal everything that has gone through? How can I find purpose in life? Because again, it was like the reminder of death that was coming back to me, right? It was like, okay, my mom passed away. What if I die tomorrow? Again, am I living my fulfilling life? So through that journey, I did a lot of personal growth. And I found out that a lot of things that I was learning through personal growth, I was actually doing it without knowing that it was like personal growth or coaching. So I felt like I was coaching myself. I have been coaching others, but I didn't know that I was doing it. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. So through that journey, I felt that what I was learning about myself and about healing and personal growth had to be shared. So that's when I found the meaning of like starting a coaching certification, getting the knowledge and the skills that I needed and passing on the knowledge to help people feel fulfilled as I found my way to feel fulfilled, giving out to others. That's the short, longest story.
No, love it. Love going on the journey of you. And I've heard some of your story, but there's plenty there that I've forgotten or not realised before as well. Like there's some very huge life events in there that you shared that
Mm,
really made you have some realizations, which was yeah, sounded like huge for you,
mm,
and realised that you want to be more fulfilled in life and therefore find something that serves others,
mm,
and that feels good to you, which is sounds like that's a lot of the what you're doing now, helping people do that and discover things.
mhm,
What I want to ask Laura is a little bit, and I don't expect it's like a one size fits all answer, right? But there's a lot of people out there, and I've definitely been there, and I mean, you've even had conversations about this, but there's a lot of people out there, they're like, this isn't for me. I know this job isn't for me. Even they could be in a business and be like, this business I'm running isn't for me. And
mhm.
they want like something that's a little bit more meaningful to them, maybe a bit more fulfilling, a bit more purposeful. Is there any guidance on where someone can start? Because it sounds like you went on, you've gone on a massive journey to discover that. But just wondering in terms of that initial step, if they're really stuck.
Yeah, of course. I feel there is a lot into it. And obviously, I do with my clients like different activations in the subconscious mind to actually find it.
Sure.
But to me is actually to really find what are the problems in society that we have right now that you feel more called to actually help. So there are certain things that happen, right? That you see problems that people have. One of them, the problem that I have picked is that people feel really unfulfilled in their career, right? And in their life as a result. So they are doing jobs that are not meant for because they are listening to that voice, you are meant for more. So to me, I have got really frustrated and upset to see that that was my reality around. And that was since I was really young, to be honest. I used to look at people and I used to, like, because when you are younger, you look at adults and you think, do I want to become like them? Are these some people that I want to look up to and model? And to me, I never wanted to model people around me because I never felt that they were fulfilled. right? So
Mm.
I started getting those frustrations while I was little. Yeah. So I feel like we all get frustrated about different problems that society has that we can help and support. So the key first is to understand what are your strengths and what you're here to do. So what I would do is first of all do a bit of an audit about what you know and what you're good at. Simple as that. One list of all the knowledge that you have acquired that you think is valuable and you want to use it.
Mm.
Another list of just skills that you think they're valuable and you are happy to use it. Like, for example, I have a lot of skills in the hospitality industry. Do I want to use it? No, all of them. However, the social skills that I learned in hospitality really, really helped me, right? And I feel like many people, when they want to transition from a job or from a career, they are thinking, oh, what about these 10 years in corporate? I'm like wasting all this time. What I say, you are not wasting anything because those skills could be transferable to whatever you do next. So it's like really finding what skills like you are happy to use, and then what personal talents makes you like as a person, something that comes natural to you that you don't have to actually force it. Once that we have that, then we can create another list of what are the problems in society that you feel more frustrated about. So maybe it's that people are lonely. Maybe it's that people are doing like things that are not fulfilling. Maybe it's health, right? Like I have a client, for example, that he's so frustrated about people eating really badly and not understanding, what they're putting into their body. Maybe that makes you angry, that frustrates you. And I actually want to get those like negative emotions that we have code, because that's where the power is and the passion to do what you do. So once you have found all these like, problems in society, then you are asking yourself, okay, knowing that these are the problems and knowing that these are my skills, my knowledge, and my talents, what problem in society do I feel more called to do? Like that I really feel that I want to do something about it, right? And then we choose that one. And then we're asking ourselves, okay, how can I solve that problem? How can I help solve that problem? Yeah. Just in the scale that you can, how can I solve it? And I feel like entrepreneurs right now that have a business, they could be more purpose driven just by concentrating the business in making an impact, right? And people who are in jobs that are unfulfilling, but they do not want to start a business, they could still have more purpose when they go to work. Yeah. So I don't think like being on purpose is just like starting a business. However, I'm here to help people who are called to do it. Because the way that I see business is I don't see that I have a business. I have a way to channel my purpose, right? So if I'm working in a 9 to 5, right, and I feel like I have this big mission to share with others and help these people, I don't have the time, energy, or financial resources to do what I love full time. Yeah. So that will take me away from my mission. I shouldn't be working in a 9 to 5. So what I'm doing is like helping people get rid of that, have that financial stability that they need so they can serve the mission and they can impact. I feel the world needs better leaders, people who are here to impact for good. And I'm sick, like literally sick of, I don't watch the news, thank God, but like anyway, you watch in social media because people share things, right? And you're seeing all these leaders who, in my opinion, they don't have our best interests. They don't, but they're still in these powerful positions. So why are we allowing that? Why is people complaining all the time about who is leading the world or the country? What are you doing about it? How are you contributing into this planet? And yeah, I just feel like we are too individualistics in this world. It's like me, 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 me. And we need more of a thinking we. We as a whole, what do we need and how can we contribute?
Mm. And see your passion behind that as well. So
Yeah.
loving it.
Get angry about it
Yeah,
because I
it's
want
good.
to like, I want to do something about it. And that's what I do. And I really do feel like if we all do something about it, we can make the world a better place. I really do believe it. So I feel like many people can wake up. I also feel called because you say, okay, what is someone that is listening to us can do? I do have a recorded activation to activate in your subconscious the leader that you have within and your mission. So I will be more than happy to share with your audience, like completely for free. They can just listen to it and also tap, because I feel like we're trying to fix with the conscious mind what is in the subconscious, like we're trying to fix like something logical. Okay, what is it that I'm logically here to do? And I feel that's why people are not clicking with it, because it's not logical. Maybe it feels like the mission is too big, or and you're gonna say to yourself, oh, who am I to change the world?
Mm.
So I feel like we actually need to access another part of our brain to be in a calm state and let those answers flow to you and stop being so logical, which I am a very logical person, and that cost me years of looking for the answer.
Very logical as well, like left brainer myself. But yeah, I was actually going
Mm,
to ask you about that because often someone might be like, "Do you know what? That's a problem. Uh, that's something I want to help," and then they might come at a perspective like, "Well, there's other people talking about that. Who am I to talk about
mm,
that?
mm.
Someone else is already doing it." All that kind of chat. So. Yeah, I just kind of was going to ask you your view on that and how someone might overcome maybe some of that self-talk that's holding them back. But yeah,
Mm.
subconscious suggestion sounds like a great one to that.
Yeah, of course. I feel like my suggestion will be to act from purpose and not from ego,
Mm,
right? So obviously your ego, which is the part of yourself, right, that wants to be safe and protected, is gonna do whatever it takes so you stay like you are, because that means safety.
mm,
Right. So by you putting yourself out there and doing something that maybe other people are doing or that you haven't done before, your ego is detecting a threat. So it's going to tell you to not do it, and it's going to come up with all these excuses why you cannot do it. So the answer is no, oh, I need to do something completely different that hasn't been done so I can feel safe, because that will never happen. You are going to come with your ego, and maybe he's going to tell you one day, oh, I shouldn't be on camera because I'm going to make a fool of myself, or I shouldn't post this because my parents are going to criticize it. You're always going to have these like second thoughts, but as long as you stay on purpose, and you do it out of service, then you can actually calm that voice down. So being on purpose will mean, and let's put an example of showing up in social media, because I feel like many people struggle with that,
mm,
right? If you are on ego, you might be thinking, how many likes can I get from this post? How many comments? I hope people love my picture. I hope people love the message that I have to share,
I've been
right?
guilty of this in the past, definitely.
Yeah, of course, we
Yeah,
all have,
yeah,
right? I
I'm
hope
not,
like everyone likes me, yeah? Because
yeah,
obviously the ego wants that validation and is thinking, if I get this validation, I am enough,
mm,
right? So we're seeking that. We want validation. That's like a human need, and that's fine. But if you are on purpose, what you are doing since the moment that you are designing the post and putting the picture, you're asking yourself, how can I provide value to others?
mm,
That's all. How can I impact someone's life by what I have to put out there today? And I feel like many people do not understand that you're actually making an impact. And, we're all influencers, because people think, oh, I don't want to be an influencer. You are an influencer. By the actions that you take and what you show online, you are influencing people in a positive or negative way. And that's completely up to you. So
mm,
if you are on purpose, then you're focusing on the impact, right? And I shared the other day that I got like a message from a follower in Instagram, that after 2 years, she told me, hey, you changed my life. I watched one of your videos like 1 to 2 years ago about purpose and starting a business. And I did it. I followed through. I found my purpose. And now, I have a business. And I'm like, wow, how amazing that I didn't know that this person watched my video 2 years ago, and I impacted her because I went through, okay, how can I share that value? So yeah, I to your question, and like people are doing the same, why should I do it? Well, first of all, is act from purpose, and then secondable is like, how are you different that those people? Because there are so many like business coaches out there, right? Like I could be saying the same, but I know I'm different. I know I'm Laura from Spain, all this story that I told you, and more things that have happened to me. I know that I have a good heart. I know that I'm here to awaken other leaders, and I know my mission. And what makes me different is me, is my heart, is my soul, is my intention behind it. So, how can you differentiate yourself from others? And I feel I also went through this same mistake of like trying to model other people and trying to be maybe this like, like another business coach in the market, another person that is doing this. And I caught myself doing it, and I had to wake up and realize, why am I not being more of myself? Why I'm not like more like, you know, passionate or calling people in their BS? Like that's my personality. Where am I, like deeming myself, my light, and what I have to offer? So I feel like throughout your journey in entrepreneurship or outside of entrepreneurship, you need to go through a lot of ego death, and just realize, okay, now I'm letting my ego to lead my life, right? And that could mean anything. That could mean, okay, I just have this job, and I just have this car, and I just have this house because I want to feel like, people validate me, or this makes me feel that I'm worthy of enough. And you are going to have to realize, oh, am I living my true self, as my true self, and I'm fulfilled? If you are not, what do you need to let go of? And I'm not telling you to let go of all these nice things that you have, but detaching from, your worthiness with all those things and being your true self. And I feel this life is a journey of being our true selves and start forgetting what we have learned that is not true to us.
Mm, some good points there, like focusing on service. I love that one. And who you
Yeah.
are specifically. Yeah, Laura, I
Mm,
want to touch a bit on like maybe the business side of like purpose, and going back to what you said a little bit ago about listing what are some of your skills. And it doesn't mean you have to take that job, like you talked about hospitality and having some of the skills there, and then you went into actually what are some of the problems out there and
mm,
how can I start solving some of those problems.
mm-hmm,
From just curious, from your perspective, are there some, because you might be quite passionate about pursuing some like problems from a business
mm.
perspective, is it useful to look at actually, is that problem profitable? Because there
Yeah,
may be,
100%.
yeah, I was just going to ask you because I can think of
Mm,
some things like I've done where it's like, actually I'm really passionate about that, but actually that's a very difficult market. But then there's another
mm,
problem, like helping people with their podcasts. I get a lot of
yeah.
entrepreneurs coming to me like, just teach me. And then there's stuff in the past where I was trying to do more counseling therapy service where it's like I wanted to help them, but it wasn't such a it was more of a
Mm,
tricky one to do. So yeah, I just want to get your take on
mm. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So the next thing, okay. So then the next list that you will write is like problems that people will pay for,
that.
right? So there must be a problem that, is big enough, and there is a need for it for you to turn it into a business.
Mm,
And then it's to be a desire. So what people want to really achieve and how you can get them there. So if that desire is tangible and is strong enough for people to pay for it, then you have a business. But I feel like many people overthink about it. And I love this example because I saw it the other day, and to me it was like crazy. So I was watching a YouTube video, and there was an ad that came up of a girl that teaches dog owners how to dance with their dogs,
mm,
right? So to me that blew my mind, okay? And I think she was in Shark Tank or something. I don't know. She was in a TV show, and then she started it, or I don't know, or British Got Talent. It was something like that. But it was like, to me it's crazy because sometimes I wouldn't see that as a need, right? Or as a problem. And I feel like we get stuck in our own mind and say, oh, who would pay for this, right? But I think we need to do our research. So to me, what I do, with my clients is, okay, first I help them with the problem and what problems can they get paid for. And if it is something that they really want to do, but they're like in a negative mindset of like, oh, no one will pay for it, I would be like, look for it. Like, look if there is actually a need. Are people in Googling this? Are people looking for it? Are other people in the industry that they are doing it, but maybe they are not doing it quite right? Maybe there is a gap in the market. So I feel like you can do many things that other people are doing, but just make it better, right? And I feel like there are so many brands that they have done it, right? Like obviously like Apple, right? The phone was already a thing, right? But he just made it better, right? So I feel like there are so many companies that they use something that already exists
Mm.
and just like, make it slightly better. But yeah, what your answer to your question is like, yes, you need to look if there is a need to the problem and if you can get them to their desire, but also be open-minded because there are so many things that people will pay for that you don't realize. My first $100 online, it wasn't with coaching. It was a consultation call of people who wanted to move to another country.
Mm.
So I went through the same process. What am I good at? What is my knowledge, my skills? What am I passionate about using? And what are my personal talents? I was like, well, I moved to 5 different foreign countries and I have started from scratch. House, friends, jobs, everything. Right. So I'm not scared of moving to Japan tomorrow if I have to. Yeah. So that's why I was like, okay, this is what I can do right now. So I literally put a post out there in a Facebook group and I said, hey, I have, how many these years of experience like living abroad and moving to countries. If anyone is moving abroad, let me know and I will be able to help you. Simple.
Mm.
I didn't think that someone would pay for it, but I actually gave it a shot. And then I was like, yes, my first 100 USD dollars that, in Australian dollars, it was 160 or something. So to me, it was like, wow, after earning back in Spain 3 years an hour, for work to actually getting for an hour 160 to me it blew my mind of what is possible.
Oh wow, that's really cool. You've
Mm,
reminded me of what I'm going through Russell Brunson's Prime Move at the moment, and he's talking about level 10 problems, and it's like there's
mm,
huge opportunities to. And then Alex Hormozy was like he found the biggest problem to solve, and that's what that helped him. So yeah, there sounds like there's a few simple steps into it. Like what are your skills?
mm,
What are the problems out there? But actually, what by being open minded and understanding and researching, what is it that people will actually help? And
mm,
yeah, like having a coach like yourself in that process is really going to be key to help someone kind of
mm,
stay on their tracks and get them thinking out of their own mind as well. I love that.
mm.
Laura, I know I touched on in the beginning, with your clients, you help them with energy mastery, rather, like
Mm.
help them with their energy. Like, how do you do that? Is it like a case of a mixture of things like the mind, the body? Because you strike me as someone who's got I know you've got a lot of good positive energy. So yeah,
Thank you.
just tell us a little bit about how you can help people. I know it's probably a long process, but maybe some ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a long process. I think is what I mentioned, right? Like I feel like many many things that we can use are in our subconscious mind. In our conscious mind, like there is not much that we can change. And sure, like many people are listening right now and they have a negative habit that they know is a negative habit, but they are not changing it, right? And they are not able to change it. And I feel it happens the same with people who have 9 to 5 jobs, right? Maybe they want to change it, but they are just not be able to change it. So when I say energetics, it also like means like the subconscious mind and how we require ourselves to actually tap into the person that we need to be in order to deliver our mission and to be the person that we want to be. So what I do is basically taking them to a process where they first of all access their subconscious mind and they access their higher self and they release the obstacles that energetically and in their mind that they're unable to push through to actually get to the other side. Yeah. So let's just put a bit of an example so you can understand it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, right, we could have a mind obstacle, but right now we don't know how to access it because we're trying to solve with the conscious mind what is in the subconscious mind, right? So I want you to imagine it like they are in different rooms. Imagine the conscious mind is one room with that door, and then the subconscious is another room with another door. So we are trying to open the conscious mind and just like get the solutions. Okay, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What is my purpose? And the solution is in the other room, right? So you are not being able to access it. So what we do as a process is to do a process that we go in our mind, okay, and energetically to the other room to access all these answers. And once that you access all these answers, you can bring it to the conscious mind because you bring them with you to the other room, if that makes sense in simple terms. Yeah. So it's more of a process of letting go and blocking all the noise that we have outside from, our trauma as a children, like what our parents have told you, our society, and really tap into the next version of ourselves that is there, like waiting for us and has all the lessons, all the things that we need to know in order to move forward. Yeah. And that what it's gonna do is to change your energetic field and how you feel and how you act. And I feel like, like there is a lot of science that we are energy, right? But I feel like people think this is like a woo-woo term or whatever. I'm sure anyone that is listening has gone through the experience that you see a person that is having a bad day with bad negative energy and you can feel it before they talk. Have you ever felt that?
Yeah.
Like, they have like bad vibes, right? So I want you to imagine that those bad vibes are like, like a light that is glowing outside of you and you are sending out that energy, right? So if you actually like fix that and tap into a future energy that is all about like purpose, love, and higher frequency energy, you are gonna give another type of vibe to people, right? You said, oh, you look like a positive person, and that's the vibe that you have. Well, I do because I have to do the work to eliminate and to like, like get rid of these like dark lingering energy, right? So today before the podcast I made sure that I did my meditation, right? I made sure I took my time to ground myself and to feel good because my mind was full of thoughts, and some of them obviously they are negative. It's not like I'm positive 24/7, but I feel like it's a constant process of actually clearing those things and being, in your highest self and reaching your potential as much as you can on a daily basis with energy, with subconscious work, and with simple things like eating healthy and doing exercise and being in nature. Like it doesn't have to be that complex.
Love it.
Does that
Yeah.
answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the physical and the mental gym, I always like to think of it. We're like, okay, get a
Mm,
physical gym, that's eating well and then exercising, but there's the mental gym as well, things on the mind. Like my
mm.
70-minute Joe Dispenza meditation and things like that really do
Yes.
wonders. And yeah, breath work and things like that as a practitioner, just
Mm,
really good for that emotional training. So yeah, great perspective, kind of how you've been going for it and some tools. And I know, yeah, finding what works right when you're working with a client for them and
mm,
what they need as well. So yeah, Laura, as I want to cover so much more, but I know and I know you add so much more value, especially working specifically with people and groups and things like that. Yeah, I wanted to ask you where they can find the listener can find your meditation you mentioned, and if there's another
yep.
way for them to reach out to you if they want to connect with you, work with
Mhm.
you, just get involved with more of your stuff, which I'd highly
Mhm.
recommend, by the way. And yeah,
Mhm.
if there's maybe a final point that you wanted to leave us with today around what we've been talking about, whether it's a recap of something or something else you just wanted to express.
Yeah, thank you. For the link of the meditation, I will send it to you so you can add it in the podcast because it's not something that I normally offer, but I
Oh,
felt called
amazing.
to do. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna send it to you. For Instagram, you can find me at Purpose Awakening with Laura, and you can add me there and we can connect. Otherwise, in Facebook, it will be Laura LB, or you can find me in my website at iamlauralopez.com. So that would be the first way to reach out, and then we can connect and see if we were a good fit to work together. And as last words, I think I would say stop waiting for something. Like stop waiting and thinking that tomorrow is granted. I feel what really helped me, and it's sad that I had to go through a lot of challenges, and I have gone through like more challenges and deaths from family members and friends after what I shared. And I feel like that's a constant reminder to me of like, like live your fullest life now. Live up to what you really want to do and the legacy that you want to do behind. So if you are hearing that voice, you are meant for more. Just by ignoring it, you are not going to get more clarity on it. So just get messy. Like put a post up like I just did about, people who were moving abroad, and I just put it out and see what happens. Maybe write a post and give value to someone, or maybe talk to someone about something that you know and give them value. Like find ways where you can actually be of service, and you are going to feel so much better, regardless if you just start a business or not. How can you show up in life with that energy of service? How can you show up as we and not me only? And you are going to start seeing the shift 100%. So that's all.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Laura, so much for coming on, and we'll be sure to link your very generous meditation below, and of course all the links to find you on socials and your website as well.
Thank you, Joni. It was great to be here.
Of course. So that concludes our episode for today, and remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.